Good evening, Internet. I'm Stone Daly, sitting in for Mark M.F. Jones, and here's the news. A local dog wins the Nobel Peace Prize in a shocking turn of events. A Labrador Retriever named Max has been awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics. The 7-year-old canine, known for his love of tennis balls and belly rubs, apparently cracked the code for quantum entanglement while chewing on a bone. Experts are calling it a breakthrough in monumental proportions. Max was unavailable for comment, but sources say he celebrated with a nap and a bowl of kibble. In other news, a sleepover at a local youth center turned deadly after a pillow fight. More of this, more than this at 11. Now here's Nels with sports and weather. Nels?
Whoa, yo, for our audio listeners only, this man, I had to mute myself. This man, he looks like Ron Burgundy. The hair, the tie. This is I can't even do the act. I can't even say anything about sports. I can't. Wow. All right, Mark. Formally introduce yourself.
What
Oh
up?
my God.
What up, Internet? Who you are, where you be, where you at, what you see. And this is Pop Cult Parent, and we bring you the action news. I am one of your hosts, Mark M.F. Jones, and I am joined by...
Wow. This is Niels R.Y., aka Dorothy Mantooth is a saint. You understand me? Dorothy Mantooth is a saint.
And this is Shannon, aka 60% of the time, I'm right every time.
And today, if y'all haven't figured it out, we are talking about the cult classic, the legendary movie about a legendary man, an Anchorman, Ron Burgundy. The movie Anchorman turns, I believe, 20 years old this year. And we're like, what a great time to talk about this monumental, amazing film, this work of art. So, sorry, we had to get together. And I get my hair done for this great night. And I'm gonna wear this all through the podcast.
Yes,
so this is life. This is life now.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
I had a I have like facial hair, but there was a mustache that came with it. I don't know. I lost it, but like the sticky stuff came off, so it wouldn't work. My wife's like, "You have a mustache." I was like, "But it's not a Ron Burgundy one. You don't get me."
Mark, that hair is exquisite.
Yeah,
pretty nice.
It is exquisite. It looks like Ron's hair.
I just know it smells. I just know it smells of rich mahogany.
Rich mahogany.
Leather-bound books. All right. Are we gonna jump in?
Yeah, man. So, like, now, do you want to let the listeners know, like, what we're going to talk about in regards to this cult classic? Not even cult classic, just classic.
Yeah. So, yeah, we're gonna talk about Anchorman. And I think it'll be fitting, even though if you're a member of the pop cult, you've watched Anchorman. I'm assuming you've watched Anchorman. So I'm gonna quickly go over some of the history, some interesting things to know, and actually talk just a tidbit about the impact of Anchorman based off of the actors who have been in Anchorman. So, as Mark shared, Anchorman came out the summer of 2004. It was directed by Adam McKay and written by Adam McKay and Will Ferrell. It stars Will Ferrell, who plays Ron Burgundy, Christina Applegate, who plays Veronica Corningstone, Paul Rudd, who plays Brian Fantana, Steve Carell, who plays Brick Tamlin, and of course, David Koechner, who plays Champ Kine. This movie made $90 million, which I'm sure you're like, oh, that seems like an okay opening. Yes, but it came in number 2. Do you know what came in number 1 the summer of 2004? Here's my test.
Summer 2004. I know Constantine came out that year. I think it did. Pretty sure it did.
I don't know if Constantine came out that year.
Well, I
But
saw it
I
with the
like
same person I saw Anchorman with.
Oh, well, there you go. So it did come out that
I'm
year.
assuming it did.
It wasn't Superbad, was it? Superbad didn't come out then, right?
Superbad
Nah, I
came
think it
out
was
after.
03.
Oh, 03.
Oh,
Okay.
it came out.
04?
It came out before Anchorman.
Yeah.
Superbad.
Yeah, I
That's
definitely
right.
saw
That's
Superbad
right.
before.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Was it Return of the King?
It was Spider-Man 2.
Oh, wow.
Spider-Man 2.
Wow.
Arguably, at the time, one of the greatest superhero movies ever. Spider-Man 2 came out. And so Anchorman came in number 2 as a,
Well, I mean, fuck, Spider-Man 2.
you
Yeah,
ain't beating Spider-Man 2.
You ain't being
So,
Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
so Will Ferrell is a legend, as we know. And Will Ferrell did a bunch of things before Anchorman and has done a bunch of things since Anchorman. But I think it's important for us to name that this was the start of the Adam McKay, Will Ferrell like partnership.
Yeah.
Let me just name this. When Adam McKay directs a movie and Will Ferrell and Adam McKay write a movie and Will Ferrell stars in that movie and he's the lead in the movie, it started with Anchorman. The next one after that was Talladega Nights. What happened after that was Step Brothers. And then Anchorman 2. All right. I don't know what kind of streak that is, but it's a hell of a streak.
Can we talk about Anchorman 2 real quick? It's really good. It has to follow a classic. It's not as good as the first, but the first is a classic. But I watched it this weekend preparing for the podcast. It's really good. It's really funny.
It is number 4 in all 4 of those movies that I shared. I'd rank it number 4.
Yeah.
And that's not that bad.
Yeah.
Because those 3, Anchorman, Talladega Nights, and Step Brothers,
come on.
I'm pretty sure I can recite the entire movie for all 3 of those movies. Don't you put that on me, Ricky Bobby. Put that on me.
You are not paralyzed. No. He's always crying. I hope you have sons, masculine sons.
With their company Prestige Worldwide.
Catalina wine mixer. I could go all go on. Lil Wayne said Catalina wine mixer in a mixtape. This is like anyway. So sorry, I went on a tangent. This partnership is legendary, at least especially for our generation, and I'm assuming the pop cult.
Yeah, it's a shame.
But let's keep going.
I think Adam McKay and Will Ferrell had a falling out.
Wow.
They haven't really they did the other guys together, but Will Ferrell didn't write the other guys. But that's an Adam McKay directed movie.
I think if I'm hearing this correct, I think what happened. Have y'all seen that show on HBO about like the Lakers in the 70s?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think Adam McKay is like a writer or director for that, and I don't know. I from what I heard, he didn't involve Will Ferrell. Will Ferrell got mad about that, and like that's where the falling out happened.
That's why, because John C. Reilly's like the star of that show.
Exactly. So I don't really know.
And I'm assuming John C. Reilly and Will Ferrell are like homies,
unless they're not anymore. But like, because he like Anchorman 2, is that the ghost of Stonewall Jackson? Give me your soul. Let's not ignore the fact that that's the ghost of Stonewall Jackson.
Okay, all right. So we know Will Ferrell. Will Ferrell is one of the greatest movie comedians of all time. Like, we'll just keep it moving. This movie's legit further propelled the careers of everybody who was starred in it.
Yep.
Christina Applegate was a part of 3 successful TV shows after Anchorman, and a bunch of Alvin and the Chipmunks movies. So it's like, yo, you do Alvin and the Chipmunks, she good.
She got a check for that, yeah. Because those movies, what do we say? Those movies made money.
Yeah, money. And you know what? They won't stop making them. They won't stop making them. Them, Well, we talked about Trolls. They're
Trolls,
never gonna stop making
Breaking It,
Trolls.
Minions. We will be taking our grandchildren to see Minions movies.
Oh, there'll be a Despicable 17. I
Yeah.
believe it. Despicable Me 17. I believe it. Absolutely. Why? Why not?
Despicable Me
money.
Maverick. 20 years later,
they making money. So yeah. So that's Christina Applegate. Paul Rudd went from this. And Paul Rudd again has had like, you know, the man wasn't clueless. You know what I'm saying? Like the man has had a long and prestigious
it's crazy
career.
how long his run has been. When you think like, yeah, he wasn't clueless, like, and he looks the same. Him and Ferrell, vampires, dog.
Yeah,
him and Ferrell, vampire juice.
He went from this, and then he starred in Role Models, and then went from Role Models to Ant-Man. Enough said. I don't. He's a Marvel superhero, so I will leave it there. But I would say arguably the most successful out of all of them, as far as run goes, is Steve Carell. Because Steve Carell did this and then did 40-year-old version and then did The Office. And Steve Carell has only been going up. Like, the man he's the star of Despicable Me. We were just joking about. He has several streams of income.
He's been in dramas. Like, yeah, he's not wanting for anything.
He's eating.
Yeah. And I'm like, even with where he's at now, it's like, you know, sometimes the actors, they sort of have this fall off. Like, you know, like you're saying, he's only been up from there and they're like, oh, well, we don't really care if we want him or something. I feel like there's a piece of us that are like, Steve Carell, I need you to be in something new. Like, we still want to see you in stuff. You know, we haven't forgotten.
Still a demand.
Shannon, I don't know. Shannon, you know how much money those Despicable Me movies make? Like, every year they come out, they're like the #1 movie that summer, like, or close to it. Like, I don't think he's in a rush to be in
another live action.
I don't even know if Steve is trying at this point. I think he's just reading lines at this point, and he's like, I can just say whatever I want. The kids love it, and that check clears every time.
I put on that fake Gru accent. Oh, burn over, or whatever. The moon. We'll steal the moon.
There is one other person who starred in. I mean, there are several people who starred in Anchorman, but like one of the other leads is, of course, Champ or David Koechner. And while David hasn't really been a star or the star of a movie, let me tell you this. Go look at his IMDb. Go look at his filmography. This man has been working consistently. He has been in at least 1 or 2 movies every year since Anchorman. And if he wasn't in a movie, he was in a successful TV show. And now I know what you're saying and what you're thinking. There's a lot of actors who have been in movies every year. And those movies will be on, like, you know, the DVD bin at Best Buy, or, you know, would play on Tubi. But no, I'm talking about this man has been in actual, like, legit, well-known, well-named movies. So he's been working, needless to say, and I'm sure Anchorman played a role in that. But yeah, fellows, that's some of the history about Anchorman.
Yeah, I just want to touch on, you know, the cast in this. I mean, Will Ferrell, like Ron Burgundy, is a legend, but the cast hits. The news team, like, you know, Champ, Brick, was it Ryan Fantana?
Brian Fantana.
Yeah. Brian Fantana, they all just, like, they're hitting. And during this time period, this cast and these cameo people they were all, like, kind of in each other's movies, you know, like Will Ferrell. I want to say maybe not his first movie, but I think his first big movie might have been Old School.
Yeah.
And it had Luke Wilson in it.
I would say that was his breakout role. He's been in a lot of movies before.
No, yeah, he's been in a lot, but like the one that like really like propelled him might have been Old School. Yeah. And like Luke Wilson was in that, and Vince Vaughn was in that, and they both have parts in this, and Ben Stiller and Jack Black are in this, and Ben Stiller and Jack Black were, you know, Tropic Thunder, and it's like for a while these guys were popping up in each other's movies. Will Ferrell has that great cameo in Wedding Crashers. Mom, Meatloaf.
Yeah.
What is she
Yes.
doing all day? You know?
I mean,
Yeah. Yo,
if you look at
it's
go ahead. Go ahead,
oh,
Shannon.
sorry. No, I was just gonna say, just going off the cast again, as you were saying, with all of those cameos and even people who didn't even really have a line, like Seth Rogen was the cameraman, and
Yes,
like,
yeah.
and I'm like, Seth Rogen didn't even have a line. He's just like, he's the cameraman. So it's Seth Rogen. I think you already mentioned like Luke Wilson, and then Fred Armistead. Of course,
Yeah,
he,
Chris
the restaurant
Parnell.
guy.
yeah, Chris
Yeah,
Parnell.
Chris
He's the
Parnell.
little like station like hand helper.
Mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hate you, Raw Burgundy.
There's
And-
100
and-
angry San Diegans.
Yeah.
San Diegans. San Diegans.
Sandyites.
Yeah. He was like, what'd you say that? Poopy mouth. Poopy mouth. Like, I was like, what? But and then even I can't remember her name, but the woman who
Catherine Hahn.
Yes, yep, yeah.
Catherine
You
Hahn,
read my
yeah.
mind. Yeah. I was just about to say she
Agatha
plays
all
Juliet,
along.
and then
Yep.
Agatha, yeah. I'm like, yeah, they had
And she's
people.
been in a lot of their movies too.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, the Nels. I think we saw this together. She is in a great movie that no one talks about with Will Ferrell, has a nice cameo. The Goods.
Live hard,
with
sell
Jeremy
hard.
Piven and what's the guy? Champ from this, and they go to the car dealership.
Yes.
Yo,
Yes.
Pop Cult, watch that movie. No one ever talks about the movie.
It's
That
so funny.
is
And
so
the DJ,
freaking
what's his
funny.
name? Does the DJ from The
DJ
Office?
Request who won't play anything.
Won't play any song you request. Oh my, that movie's so good. Why nobody talk about that movie? It's so funny.
Why don't he play some New York
McKay,
Family? Yeah. He plays like that sad music.
Adam McKay, he either like wrote it or directed it or produced it, but Adam McKay is involved in that movie because it says from like the creators of Anchorman and like Dodgeball or something like that.
Will Ferrell has that great scene where he's dressed up like Abe Lincoln. He's like, just like John Will's booth, our prize are gonna sneak up behind you and shoot you in the back of the head.
Shannon, have you seen it? I'm assuming you haven't seen the movie. Have you seen it? Because
No,
nobody's seen it.
Yeah, you said it's called The Goods.
It's called The Goods, like buy hard, sell hard, or something like that.
Okay, I'm interested in.
It's dog. It's a time, dog. It is.
It's a blast. It is
so
a blast.
funny.
Mark, I don't even know if we went to the movie theater, but we definitely saw it. That might have.
I think we did see it at the movie theater. I think we saw that at the movie theater.
Hey, it was a good time. It was a good time. It's a good movie.
But I want to give one shout out to a cast member real quick before we get into it. The late great Fred Willard, who's like the station manager.
Ed.
Yeah, Ed. Ed, you asking me to do the news? Like, hey man, like this guy, I forgot when he passed away, but like he's always popping in stuff, and he just makes everything he's in better. He just his delivery and his voice, Miss Corningstone. Ma'am, you will do the stories. when he's like talking to his son, he's like, all right, put the gun down and let the marching band go.
Those were hilarious, yo.
And he's like, yeah, do that, and we'll just say it was a prank.
We've all had our share of pornographic material. Oh yeah, of course not, sister. Like, talking to a nun.
Yeah, that man's good.
Oh,
that man's good.
Rest in peace, man. That guy was a legend. He was great.
All right, y'all.
Yeah.
Are y'all ready to jump in?
Let's do it, man.
Okay, so I have two things that I want to talk about. Favorite quotes and why is this movie so good? So let's start with favorite quotes. I feel like we'll be here for a while.
Yeah.
I'll start and then we'll just go around. So one of my favorite parts of this movie, and Mark, I mean, you know this because literally we were like, this was part of our friendship. It was just Anchorman in general. One of my favorite parts is the singing of Afternoon Delight. I don't know why it makes me laugh as hard as it does.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it's because that song is like, Not a lot of people know about Afternoon Delight, but the way they harmonize.
Yes.
Ain't gonna be a brighter day.
No,
And
the
when Steve
best.
Carell hits the high note.
Yo, when him and Brian thinking about my baby gonna hold it, and then Ron and Champ are like, it's pretty
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
And then he goes back to talking, and then he go, Afternoon Delight.
Delight.
Oh my! And then he just talk normal.
Yo, and then
Yeah,
he's like,
like,
I gotta
oh,
make a couple calls.
Yeah.
I don't know, Ron. That sounds crazy. He's like, yeah, you got mental problems. Afternoon Delight.
That tickles my funny bone to the core, bro. I don't know what it is about that scene. I laugh hard every time I see it.
You know what it is? Because like the characters, not even that, the characters have practiced that, and it's just like they know. It's like we don't use this a lot, but when we use it, like it's he's like, well, it's gonna find my baby, gonna hold her.
Like, get ready. You gotta stay ready.
Sky rockets in flight. Like, that.
Oh my god. Oh yeah, that's a great scene now.
So that's one of my who's next?
Actually, I don't know if you want to go.
Okay. Yeah. By the
I have
beard
many more. But I'll let you go.
By the beard of Zeus. Yeah, I'll go. That was one of the lines. But no, one of the things, yeah, I've got many, and I'm glad we're gonna keep going because these are like just simple ones, but I laugh so much because I end up doing this in real life now. So when he's warming up, getting ready to do the news, behind the scenes, he's like, brown cow, now cow.
Yeah.
Brown cow. The human torch was
cow.
denied a bank loan. So those are hilarious, but like I legitimately do that. Like before recording this podcast or things that I'm gonna go.
That's hilarious.
Like I'm like just making sure I'm like brown cow, now cow. Brown, or if I'm going to do a presentation, I'm like to the side. So those are hilarious. And I do it.
Ron would be proud.
Shit, I'm a piggyback off you, dog. Like in college, my freshman year, we watched this movie all the time. And for some reason, we always we almost couldn't get past the intro where he's like the news, and like a lot of my favorite quotes come from that scene. He's like ribs. I'm doing this because I have ribs for lunch.
I hate how it's so simple and so funny. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
I have ribs.
Ribs.
Like, and then he's like, I'm talking to you. Maybe know wear a bra next time. He's like, no, I don't know who her name is. Ladelin? Ladelin? Like sheep's wool.
Oh god. Okay, we'll keep going.
Yeah.
Man, I got a lot.
Can I just one more?
Okay, go.
I don't want to go back to that part, but like one more that gets me. He's like, "You're on the air." I don't believe you.
So I'll go to Brick real quick, and then we can keep moving. Brick is, Steve Carell has a career because of Brick. Like, Brick is so funny, and it's like you don't want to laugh because you know things, but like Brick is so funny when this man screams loud noises. Loud noises. Oh my goodness, bruh. Oh,
that's a great
still
scene.
use loud noises.
That's the one they're mad about Corning Stone coming to the station, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I love the ladies.
He just goes loud noises. Oh my goodness. And when he almost breaks down and cries because of his love for Lamp, like I love Lamp. I love Lamp.
You really love the lamp, or you're just looking at the lamp? I love Lamp.
Naming things and saying you love them.
Yeah,
he was the Trident one
all
of them?
night.
Like, yeah, I killed the guy. I stabbed the guy in the heart.
Rick killed the guy. I want to talk about that because you probably wanted it for murder.
Yeah.
Went to a safe house. Oh my god.
Yeah, probably lay low for a while.
Oh
a
my
fan of Brick.
god, dude! I'm gonna pass out. I love that scene with they're like, it's Anchorman, not Anchor Lady, and that's a known fact.
Yeah,
Right, Ron?
yeah.
It's terrible. Her hair smells like cinnamon.
Yes.
And even when it, and then Brick, even there, it was like what they're when they're menstruating, they call bears.
The bears.
He's like, you hear that, Ed?
Smell the menstruation.
Yeah, they can smell the menstruation. He's like, you hear that, Ed? Now you're making the entire newsroom
It's
unsafe.
like bears, Ed.
Oh
Outta here,
man,
bro. Oh my goodness.
Oh,
How did they think of this movie? Whatever.
I know we're
Another
gonna
one
jump around. I just a Brick one that always gets me when they're upset and it's like, let's go buy some suits, and they do the jump like, yeah, and then they're walking. It's like, Brick, is this a way to the suit shop? All right. It's like, so we were walking 45 minutes. Fantastic.
Why did they follow him? It's a crime alley.
Crime alley.
I mean, can I just say, can we just talk about the fight scene?
Yes, please.
Bruh, so we'll talk eventually about why this movie is so good. But part of this reason this movie's so good is they have an action scene, an epic action scene with the cast and characters of this entire cohort of comedians coming up and showing through. And y'all, Ben Stiller.
Just a breakdown, like, because when they run into the
West
Mantooth and Evening News team, and I love they're like riding the bike. They're grown men and they're riding bikes around in the alley.
There's a lot of movies that are being quoted in this fight scene, by the way. So they're just circling.
Hey. Keep a tight perimeter.
Yeah.
Just like Warriors.
Yes.
Like that's a scene from Warriors.
And then when West Mantooth starts making fun of them, and then I forget what he says, but Brick's like, he said Heine, and Brick's over there with like the other news team.
Yeah, laughing. Yep.
No, but yeah, that fight, and then all the other news teams come. What is it? Like the public it was like Channel 3. There's the Luke Wilson one.
Yeah, it's public news channel, public evening news.
That's
with
the
Tim
one with
Robbins.
Yes, the public access, and then I forget Luke Wilson's channel.
Luke
but
Wilson's,
like,
I don't remember his channel.
It's like, you dirtbags have been in third place for 5 years. It's like, yeah, we're gonna be in dead place.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I was thinking about, I was like, you had dead last right there. Like dead place. Like I feel like dead last. You're gonna be dead.
Yo,
And that fits Luke Wilson to a T.
Yeah, that's
one of my favorite quotes is when Ben Stiller shows up with the Spanish news.
Yeah.
No, I'll be going to work and I'm like, and the streets run red with Burgundy's blood.
Yeah.
But my favorite part is when they show up and Tim Robbins is like, looks like we got our bilingual blood.
The no touching of hair and mouth, but of course.
Yeah. Obviously, those are the ground
And
rules.
that's it.
Oh my goodness.
But then like the way it starts, like they're fighting, and out of nowhere you see a guy on fire, just like walking on fire, falling.
Brick holding the grenade. Ah! Brick, where'd you get the hand grenade?
My goodness.
My favorite part though is when the guys on the horses come out of nowhere with the net, and then the drums from Planet of the Apes, the original Planet of the Apes, they're like, doo-doo-doo.
And he drag him just like Planet of the Apes. It's ridiculous, bro. It's ridiculous. Oh my goodness.
But
Policia.
And
I can't take it when I see Ben Stiller in that role. I can't take it. Yo, I'm a hot mess every time I see Ben Stiller in that role.
Oh man. And then the breakdown afterwards, he's like, well, that escalated quickly.
That really got out of hand.
You guys kept your head on a swivel, and that's what you can do when you're in a vicious. fight.
Drinking Miller High Life, yo.
But,
Oh
man.
but also like the assortment of weapons they had. Like we said,
yes,
he had a hand grenade. Some people had like chains, brass knuckles. Somebody had I think a bedpost with scissors in
it
it.
was
Like,
Ron. Yeah, and he had like the notches in it for like the
yeah.
kills.
What else? Yeah, torches, obviously the trident. Like it was a handgun somebody had. Like just the craziest stuff.
And
I
like, I think what's special about it is this ridiculous, hilarious, multi-layered fight scene is just randomly in the middle of this movie. Just
Yeah.
like an Anchorman comedy movie about news. In the middle is this intense fight scene. And I just
So-
thought, like, stellar.
funny thing though, like I remember when I had this movie on DVD, I was listening to the commentary, and like apparently this kind of stuff would happen in the like the 70s and stuff. Like Anchormen would like get into fights with other news channels.
You're lying.
They said like they would just clash. I don't think it would be this like intense, but they would just clash with each other.
I have never wanted to go to the 70s until today. Until this very moment.
Just to
I
see
would
that.
like to see that.
Just
I
to
would
see
like to
that.
see that. Think of some of our news anchors. There are some, look, we're in the DMV. There are some legendary news anchors that have came through the DMV. You know what I'm saying? I would like to see them fight. I would very much like to see them fight. Because you know they talk smack to each other in the anchor voice. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, I want to see that.
Since we're on this subject with the fight, the West Mantooth, like their first interaction, now as you quoted it, Dorothy Mantooth is a saint. Dorothy Mantooth is a saint. Dorothy Mantooth.
He meant that with his soul, bruh. This is some of the best acting Vince Vaughn's ever done, yo. He meant that, yo.
I love when they're that moment before they're walking up to and they run into them. They're eating corn dogs, and then like they're talking and they just throw them on the ground. They're just they don't even finish them. They're just.
Fun fact, Pop Cult. In case you're wondering, something that Mark has taken from this movie, it is randomly throwing food on the ground. This was a younger time. This was over 20 years. So not over 20 years in the past, but I know one thing Mark got from this movie, just grabbing food from people's faces and throwing it on the ground.
This burrito is filling.
Saying the exact line. Bad influence on 18-year-old Mark. Oh my goodness. Yo, any other scenes? Shannon, you got any?
Well, I was sort of jumping back to a quote. Again, this was just funny to me because especially as I was like some of the outside work I do when we're talking DEI related things, but when he says when they're like, we're coming on a fire and they're saying we need more diversity in the in our newsroom, and it was like, I don't even know what diversity is, and then Will Ferrell's or Ron Burgundy is like, I believe diversity is an old wooden ship used during the Civil War era. It is like, why would they be concerned about wooden ships, Ron?
But, Ron, are you listening? No.
But that makes me laugh so much. That, and he does that a couple of times, and the way he's just so sure of himself and so wrong, because when he talks about San Diego, he's like, yes. San Diego. I believe it is
founded by the Germans.
Yeah, founded by the Germans, and in the language it means whale's vagina. And it's like I don't think that's true at all.
That's not
like,
true.
Well, yeah, and he's like, well, honestly, I don't think anyone knows what it means anymore.
Lost in time.
Yeah, it's been lost. And she's like, I'm pretty sure it means Saint Diego. Agree to disagree.
Agree to disagree.
So sure.
Yeah, and shout out to Veronica, man. What's the actress name?
Christina Applegate.
Yes, because like dog, she brings it in this movie. Like she is really funny. I love when they can't find Ron, and she's like, Ed, I'm ready to do the news. And he's like, Miss Cornystone, ma'am, there's never been a linker. And she's like, you're going to deny me to do the news because I have breast, exquisite breast.
She's like, I'm good at three things.
Three things.
It's like, what does she say?
She's like fighting, screwing, and doing the news.
Yeah.
And I've already done one of those things today. So what's going to be the other one?
He's like, screwing.
She slaps and mushes them in the face. My God, she's terrifying.
Well, Chris Parnell only has like maybe 4 lines in this movie, but every time he's on screen, he makes me laugh, yo. The way he just reacts to the mush.
Like, oh. I love like she just mushes them. Like, what is that?
They were mushing in the 70s.
And then I love when Cornystone does the news and she finishes it and she's like, yes.
Yeah, man. I do that sometimes, yo.
Yeah.
Yes. There's one other thing that I do that like to this day I still do. And it is I'm in a glass cage of emotion.
Ron, I can't understand what you're saying. Man.
I'm Baxter.
Yo, I laughed out loud. Obviously, when I first saw it, I'm sure, but definitely I was rewatching it for the episode. And so, mind you, I'm sitting in a room. I have my headphones on, so I'm the only one. My son is beside me. He's watching something on his iPad. He's into Avatar now, so that's what's up.
Okay,
like the last
Good
Airbender.
work.
Yeah. But he's watching that.
Shannon's raising his kid right.
Yeah, Shannon's the hero, man. Shannon, the legend of Shannon.
I know. But so he's watching that on his iPad. My wife is reading a book, and I'm watching this. And so it's quiet in the room, dead quiet. And then all of a sudden, you hear me just laughing as loud as I can.
Even the build up to that's the burrito scene where he hits Jack Black. And he's like, that's quite a raspberry you have there. Hey, easy, compadre. I'm your friend here. I got Jack Johnson and Tom O'Leary, right?
Oh, and then when he kicks that fake Baxter, yo.
Baxter, bruh, the fact that it looks so fake makes it even better. Like, just the legs.
Oh god, it's so fake
They're just
looking.
fumbling over the. Oh, it's so good. Baxter.
Oh my goodness.
To say punted.
One like in college, like I had a buddy, and like we would go back to back on this one scene, and it was just we couldn't get enough. He's like, "You put that cat poop in your mouth."
Yes. Yo, I think they took it out.
No, so you know what's funny? What version did you guys watch? It's in the unrated version.
Yeah. I watched it.
And
But I feel like they had it in the movie theater when you watch it.
I remember owning the unrated version and like, you know, I feel like that's the version that everyone watches. You put that cat poop in your mouth. No. Yes, Ron Burgundy says no, and then what I love about that scene is that when Ron just like gives it, he's like, oh, okay, I'll eat it. If I eat a piece of, he's like, will you give me a steak? He's like, I think about it, and then he's like, he's like, a big steak for him.
Yes. He's like, stop, Ron.
Yeah. Oh, no crying. He's not crying. He's like someone else is concerned about. He's like, he's not crying.
He said, I'm so hungry.
I'll eat this shit.
I'll eat the poop. I eat the shit. Oh my goodness, man.
Big steak for him.
I was looking for that scene. So I guess in the newer versions or in the rated versions, they don't have that. But man. Any other quotes or scenes, guys, before we talk about the question?
Man, I feel like I'm missing some, but I don't know why.
There's plenty. The entire movie.
Yeah.
Look, Milk
The
was a
entire
bad
movie is
choice.
quotes,
Come
dog.
on now.
Yeah.
One that always stuck with me, and I don't know why, it's not even a big scene, but I quote it to this day. The Danny Trejo, when Ron's at the bar and he's down on his luck, and he's like, yeah, she's better than me. He's like, hey man, chicks can do stuff now, and you gotta deal with it. It's just, I don't know why.
Yeah, man.
I feel like that's
Danny
life.
Trejo.
That's just life in general. Like, hey man, people can do things now, and you gotta deal with it. That's like America in a nutshell. Just,
Yeah.
And his response was like, huh? What?
What?
I don't speak Spanish. Like,
Wasn't even paying attention.
oh,
Yeah.
my
Oh,
goodness.
I don't want to lose them. Two scenes that are just like small scenes. The first where Ron and Courtney Stone, they have that night out together, they hook up, and then Ron's doing the news the next day. Fellas, and I didn't really notice it till like I was watching it like this weekend. Ron's reading the news and he's like, "That's our new anchor, Ron Corningstone. She's great." He's like, "We're currently dating, and she's a wildcat in the bedroom." He does this like Will Ferrell does this like little like he looks down and it's like you can see the panic. He's like, "Oh no!" He like and it's so subtle, but it's so funny. He's like, I think I'm in trouble on that." I like, man, that's acting, dog. That's like comedic acting. It's
Yeah, it's for so he does a little twinge. He's just like, ooh, shouldn't have done that.
yeah. And there's I don't know who said it, but there's a video going around where it's like good acting is like hiding. It's not like projecting. It's like people in real life try not to laugh. They try not to cry. And so like that's in comedy, you try not that you don't try to be funny, but you play it straight. And he did such a good job in that scene. And then another classic scene that I love is when they're all like eating their sack lunches in front of the news desk. And he's like, everyone's like, this is how we do it, brown bagging it.
Yeah, brown bagging it.
Champ starts breaking down. I miss your musk.
I miss your scent.
After
all this, let's get an apartment together.
My favorite part when he reaches out to like touches Ron and Ron's like,
And I'm like, I feel like me and cousins, like we still quote that, like the part where he's like, you should probably take the next player, take the next player or two off. It was like, yeah, just maybe take the next player or two off.
I'm talking for a while and then last, I know we'll probably talk about some more. I love the scene where they're getting out of the bear pit. First of all, like Nels, I know we try not to cuss, but like I love when he gets down there and she's like, Ron, I want to tell you something. It wasn't you. It was Wes Mantooth. No, it was me. You bitch.
Yes. With the bears.
You woke up the bears. Why did you do that?
Oh, Ron's an idiot, man.
I love when they get out and they're coming up the ladder and Ron's yes, and Wes Mantooth grabs the ladder. He's easy, Wes, and he's like, in the down of my pits, I hate you. And then he pauses for a moment and he shakes the ladder. He's like,
it was like,
I love it.
I respect you so much.
There's that little like I could kill you right now. Oh, it's so funny, dog. It is so funny.
And then he does his last thing. He's like, what was like redemption is spelled RON.
News team assemble.
I'm glad you said that. One of my hot takes. We watched 12 Marvel movies, and the only time we got Captain America saying assemble was a whisper. Ron Burgundy delivered the Avengers Assemble better than Captain America delivered Avengers Assemble. When you read Avengers Assemble in the comic book, it in your head, it sounds exactly like how Ron Burgundy did it in the movie.
I guess the trade-off though is in Endgame when he says it, the payoff is like spectacular. But when Ron does it, the news team's like, "Yeah, Ron, we literally been here the whole time."
Yeah.
I do like Baxter appearing from the wilderness, though.
Yeah.
Go Baxter, forever friend of the Bears.
He was like, I would.
What was he doing for those 3 months, yo? Have y'all ever wondered that? I've sat here and been like, yo, those 3 months must have been wild for Baxter.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny about that scene, though? When Ron does that and it shows Baxter, he's just now then getting out of the water. Like, he's coming out of the river. So what? Has he been going downstream for 3 months? Like, what the...
Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Baxter's like, I will tell stories of your compassion to others. But something I'm like, I would be remiss if I did not mention this. The jazz flute scene.
Oh,
that
jazz
flute.
flute.
Yeah, that is what like everything about it, from them being like, we would be honored if you would play for us.
Not jazz flute. Jazz flute.
Jazz flute. We would be honored. And he's like, come on, I'm not prepared for this. And he like pulls it out. And the fact that like he's doing all like stepping on people's drinks on the table. He sucks up alcohol, blows out fire.
Yeah, I love when he gets on stage. He's like, "Follow me for the changes, fellas, and let's take the bass for a ride." Like, he's already got directions for the band.
Yeah. At one point, he slides under a bathroom stall for like 2 seconds. Gets right back on stage.
That is definitely one of my favorite scenes, because again, it's so random. The jazz flute of all things, and I'm like, it's like, who did it better, the Green Ranger or him? Like, I think he did.
Yeah, right, yeah. Oh, I would give anything to see Tommy. The Dragonzord is just like malfunctioning. It's just it's like blowing missiles everywhere. He's like playing it for Kimberly.
Hey, Aqualung. Just go. It's like, yeah. Now I want to see that. I gotta see it.
Tommy, what's wrong?
I've got to see a Green Ranger, Ron Burgundy jazz flute mashup.
But that leads into like him and Veronica. Like, I can't. It's like, you be a woman, I'll be a man. And then the Pleasure Town.
Pleasure Town is so funny.
The most glorious rainbow.
They were sliding down that mat, bro. The horses. No, when they were riding those cartoon horses. Oh my goodness, man! It is so funny. It gets me every time. Yo.
You made me think of something. The when him and Corningstone have their falling out, and when they're doing the news together, and then when the credits are rolling, so they're muted and they're just insulting each other. It's like, I'm gonna punch you right in the ovaries. That's what I'm gonna do.
Right in the baby maker. Yep.
Right in the baby maker. You have man boobs.
Yo, they were roasting each other, yo.
They
were man. I was like, sheesh. Mm-hmm. All right, y'all. And there's still other scenes to go through. But let's talk about it, man. Why is this movie so good? And the reason I ask this question is because 90 million is good, right? Like 90 million is good. Anchorman 2 made like almost twice as much. It made like $173 million. You know what I'm saying? And if you look at all those other movies that I mentioned with those two, like Talladega Nights made a lot of money. Step Brothers made a lot of money. Step Brothers is Step Brothers. Like what it's people own Step Brothers. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's in people's households. But Anchorman is really like the launch for it, or the foundation, I should say. But like, it made 90 million, and like, it gets okay scores. Like, it's like, I think 66 on Rotten Tomato. Like, it is not like considered critically like a classic movie. But bump that. When you talk to somebody, folks our age, when you talk about Anchorman, they can name 10 quotes to you right now without even thinking, bruh.
Yeah.
And if you can do that for a movie, in my mind, you are a classic. And I would argue more than a classic. But I'm curious on what y'all think about what makes this movie special before I go on my hot take.
I think part of it is a couple things, right? I think one of it is around that time. That's when DVDs were like really, DVDs. What I think the first DVD I bought I bought two. I bought Trigun, the first like 4 episodes of Trigun, and I bought the first Fast and Furious.
Ooh, good
And
purchase.
and that was like what, maybe 2002, Yeah.
Can we just name my first DVD purchase was Bad Boys 2. That's what life was.
Yeah. And so I think like DVDs, and it's hard with streaming, but like DVDs were a thing, man. I think they came out every Tuesday or something, new DVDs dropped. There was bundle packs, there was like bins, and I think also when this came out, it was that generation that caught it. They were in high school and going to college and in college. And I remember like my mom would tell me when she was in college, they would watch Scarface over and over and over. Like it's like that's all we did was watch Scarface. In my freshman year of school, I watched Anchorman constantly.
Absolutely.
Like we'd pregame, turn on the Anchorman. Come back from going out, turn on Anchorman. You know what I'm saying? Like quote Anchorman during breakfast, quote Anchorman during lunch. And I think it was a thing. And Shannon, you shared a meme with us that summed it up. It was like, before memes, people just stood around and quoted Anchorman to each other. And I think that's why it just resonates so like heavily with that generation and that culture.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I want to say this, for me, I think why it resonated. Let's first talk about the year 2004. The year 2004 was in its bag. So here are some movies, like you said, some movies that came out during 2004. Of course, we know Spider-Man 2, Anchorman, which we're talking about. I was looking up some more really quickly, even just where the cult classics or whatnot. The Grudge came out. What else was it? The Grudge, Troy, Dawn of the Dead, Secret Window, Chronicles of Riddick, Van Helsing, and that's just some just randomly. Let's talk about the video games that came out in the year 2004. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, Madden 05, Spider-Man 2 video
and
game.
Madden 04.
Yeah. NBA Live, 05, because it really comes out in 04. Def Jam, Fight for New York. Metal Gear Solid 3.
That was my jam.
Yes. That summer. I remember that summer now.
And
so I play video games.
I remember going to your house and I was like, "Yo, you trying to chill?" You're like, I gotta beat Metal Gear Solid 3. Like, I can't help you. I gotta beat this and then I gotta go to work. So like, I'll see you later.
But so
you can watch me play.
Cheer me on from the sideline. But like, and again, that's just some of the video games, some of the movies that came out. Like there were many, many more. But there was
we gotta talk about Fight for New York. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg, the villain, like
that game had no business being as good as it was. And everybody I knew who played it loved it. You know what I'm saying?
It was great. It was great. Yeah. I remember Def Jam Vendetta being like, my favorite character was Joe Budden. He had the best special move. He did like this spinneroonie kit. Like
he did have the best. He had
the best special move, Joe Budden. And again, he said, "I'm gonna smack your head off your shoulders." Like,
I almost forgot. You Got Served came out in 04 as well.
You Got Served. Oh, we gotta do a You Got Served. Dog.
Yeah.
So
So I mentioned all of the.
What I said, I'm gonna do.
But I mentioned all of that to be
Breathe
like,
in, breathe in. Sorry, shit.
no, I'm feeling.
Now drop, now drop, now drop.
But like, that was the year 2004. And like you mentioned the things that makes this movie, very special, like just so many one-liners and quotes, like every scene feels like that. Like you could quote every scene and it's like a funny thing. But it also says something about this movie. For all of that stuff to have happened in '04, and this is one of the largest, most remembered things or things talked about to come out of the year 2004. I'm like, hey, that's special because I'm like, you see how it felt right then. It's like,
Yeah. And
we could do an episode on any one of those things mentioned, and we're like, if we did, we definitely gonna do Anchorman first, and then maybe we'll do one. You got served.
You know what it is too? All that predates YouTube, right? So
Yeah.
to see this stuff, to be a part of this stuff, you had to experience it or you had to hear it from your crew. Like, so if you're at a party and everyone's quoting Anchorman, like Ron, you listening? No. And if everyone's quoting this movie and you haven't seen it, you're like, well, dang, now I got to see this movie. All my friends are quoting this movie, and that doesn't happen anymore. Or if it does, then you can go on YouTube and watch a bunch of clips, or you know what I'm saying? It's just it doesn't hit the same. It's not the same impact. Like you had to experience these things to be part of the conversation.
Yeah.
And nowadays you can fake it. You can be like, oh, I'll read the wiki and I'll go on Reddit and then I'll watch 10 YouTube clips and I'll be caught up. You know what I mean?
Or even just Twitter. Yeah.
Twitter,
Twitter will get you. Yeah.
Yeah, you had to research these topics. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like you had, if you only seen, but I would say the cool thing about Anchorman is you can only watch Anchorman once and still, because the quotes hit so hard, you know exactly what folks are talking about. But folks will watch, like most folks in our generation have watched Anchorman multiple times or have been in a room where Anchorman was playing. Like they have been around Anchorman a lot. So
I couldn't imagine how many times I've watched this movie. Like there was a point in my life, if I had to bet money on it, if my life depended on it, I could quote this movie from start to finish. There was a window in my life where if you were like, quote Anchorman from start to finish or you're a dead man, I'm like, no problem. You know what I'm saying? That's how much I watched this movie.
Yeah. And I don't think you're alone.
Yeah.
There might be some more folks out there like that.
It was like that.
Yeah. And then for me, like it was definitely my favorite movie for a long time. And even then, there's nothing bad about it. The reason I say but it's just because so much time has passed, more movies have
The
came
Dark
out.
Knight came out.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't have to explain anything, Shannon.
Yeah, but I mean, and for me, I feel like that's sort of rare for me to say, because if you're like, oh, like what is your favorite movie? There's things I gotta do. Okay, you mean favorite like superhero action movie? Oh, you mean favorite comedy? You mean for this, I would be like, no, favorite movie, Anchorman. It don't matter. Well, what about, if we want to go into drama? You said favorite movie, Anchorman, and so it was my favorite movie for like the longest, which definitely speaks a great deal. Like there was no asterisks or anything needed. It was just like, what's your favorite movie? Anchorman.
And Nels, you talked about like the Adam McKay, Will Ferrell run. And I remember I love Talladega Nights. That's another movie that like I can quote all day. But I remember seeing it and just being like so hyped. It almost had the Dark Knight effect on me. Because when I saw Talladega Nights, I was like, man, that was really funny. That was great. It wasn't Anchorman. It wasn't an Anchorman. So like, but that again, that movie grew on me. I saw it a lot more, and like it just became another classic.
Anchorman became the standard for comedy.
It was a standard for a while.
For a while.
I would say Anchorman was the standard when it came to comedies until Hangover came out.
Maybe. Because I remember watching Hangover and be like, I laughed harder than I did with Anchorman.
No, we had the conversation I don't know if you remember this. We were talking one time that we felt like Hangover should have won an Oscar.
It's a
Do you
beautiful
remember that?
movie, yo.
Is it it should like it's like, but people are like, oh, it's a
It's beautiful
comedy. It's a
storytelling. It
great
just so
movie.
happens that they're telling jokes, but
But from
the
start to finish, it's a
storytelling is
great,
stellar
cohesive, awesome story. It just
and
happens to be
it's tight.
hilarious. Yeah.
Mhm.
Whatever. Okay, so we gotta do a hangover episode. We gotta do a hangover episode. I I gotta come back to Anchorman though, and I gotta say this, and whatever else y'all want to say, like cool, and we can call it a night. But Mark, I was talking to you about this. I think Anchorman's a perfect movie.
Yeah.
Like I just remember when I started watching it this week to get ready for the episode. As soon as like the opening scene, I was like, man, this movie's so good. And then I could, I'm pretty sure I could also recite Anchorman like word for word. I might slip up here and there, but like I'm pretty sure back in the day I could have done that too. And I was just like, man, the feeling that I'm feeling now, like the excitement of the joy of like, man, I cannot, I cannot wait. Like I am so hyped to watch this movie is the same way I feel about Back to the Future. Is the same way I feel about Friday. And like in my mind, those are like perfect movies. So Anchorman, I'm putting up there as like, I think Anchorman's a
Yeah.
perfect movie.
It's actually really well made. It like the production value of it feels like the 70s, like the music, just even the way it looks. I don't know if they put any like film grain on it or what kind of, but it has that like kind of like 70s brown kind of like, you know what I mean? Like that
Yeah.
brown tan-ish, that orange brown tan to it.
It's like the quality of the like before 72 and like HD, like whatever
Yes.
that was
Touch of
before we
green.
got like the broadcast antenna television that we got. Like we had that gritty
Mhm.
screen. And they put, I swear that's the filter they used for the movie.
Yeah. And like the costumes are great. Everyone looks like they're in the 70s. And a lot of comedies now, oh man, what's the word for it? There's a word for I think it's an anachronistic, where like people will be like, or things will be in a time period they don't belong in. So like they make a comedy about, I don't know, like the Civil War, but they talk like it's now, like it's modern times.
Mhm.
But I feel like everything said and done in this movie feels like it could have happened and been said in the 70s. It doesn't feel like people from 2004 when this were dropped in the set. It feels like this is what people would act like and say and do in the 70s.
Mhm. No, that I also like the point that y'all, well, just period that y'all mentioned how you're saying it's a perfect movie in terms of the tightness and everything like that. Because like when you say that, it makes me think of 40-Year-Old Virgin. Because and I say that sort of on the opposite end, because 40-Year-Old Virgin was hilarious. It was great. But it feels like there's a point where it's like 20 extra minutes or something where
Yeah.
just like this doesn't need to be here. Like what? And still it's funny, but it's just like this is extra. Why is this
Yeah.
here? This is like 20 something minutes too long. Whereas this one, like you said, yeah, it was compact, doesn't feel like anything's missing, definitely doesn't feel like they overstayed their welcome. Just like perfectly, packaged in without some overage or something.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, fellas, anything else before we close?
Yeah. Have y'all seen the Hidden movie, the Wake Up Ron Burgundy?
I think I've seen it once.
I
Yeah.
have not.
Shannon, do you know about this?
I have not seen this. No.
So, I guess they had so much other, I don't know, when they made the movie, there was so much other extra footage and everything that there's a completely different storyline. And there's a whole nother movie. It's called Wake Up Ron Burgundy. And it's like different scenes, there's different cast, like the news team is still, but it's like Maya Rudolph is in that movie. And oh my God, what is that one actor? There's like some known actors, and like their scenes are completely cut out. It has to do with like Ron trying to find this there's like this terrorist kind of group robbing banks, and so Ron and the news team are trying to it's wild, right? It's a whole nother movie, but it's funny as hell. That's the one where they're in the car and Champ's like, no radio, but he's telling Ron that he loves it.
So the one time I watched it was with you.
Yeah,
No radio.
No, Shane, I recommend it. It's hilarious.
Yeah, because
Mark and our mutual friend, we have gone no radio ever since.
Years, ever since so to put in context, Shannon, there's the scene they have in front of the news desk where Champ's unwinding and he's telling Ron like he loves him. They do that scene, but it's in a car, right? So like they're driving, and like Champ just starts breaking down. He's like, I love you, Ron. And they're like, let's turn on the radio. He's like, no radio. He's just breaking down.
That's hilarious. Because I'm like, as you're describing it, I mean, my next question is like, where can I find this? I'll Google it, I guess.
I've seen it on I own it because it came. It was a package, so I own it with when you bought the first Anchorman, it came with it. But like, I'm pretty sure it's on iTunes now. You could rent it for like $4. It is a completely different storyline.
Gotta see this.
Yeah, and it's wild, and it makes me think like, wow, what did they film? What did they like the scene where Ron is at the bar with Danny Trejo? That wasn't Danny Trejo. It was a completely different actor. It was the I forget this guy's name, but he was in Lost. You know what I'm saying? And then Justin Long plays Will Ed. He plays Ed's son, and so there's scenes.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Well, at least he has a good heart.
Yeah.
And so Justin Long is his son, and he had scenes in the movie that for whatever reason were taken out. But it's funny. Like it's not as funny as Anchorman, but Shannon, it's like right there. I highly recommend it. It's called Wake Up Ron Burgundy.
Okay. Yeah. No, I'm like.
Hey, but Shannon, don't watch it for the story. Just watch it for the jokes.
Oh yeah. Don't try to like the story.
Don't try to understand it. Just
but it's hilarious. It's hilarious.
Nice. Well, yeah, no, I'm gonna definitely check that one out now.
I'm glad you no radio.
Gives a lot of flashbacks.
Oh man.
Anything else, y'all?
Nah, man, this was fun. I like listeners. Thank you for listening. I apologize if all this was us quoting Anchorman and laughing our asses off, but that's what happens when you talk about Anchorman.
Yeah, that was to be expected.
Yeah.
I don't know how good this episode was, but damn it, I had a good time. So thank you all for listening, Pop Cult. We have a new episode every month. You can find us on all social media at Pop Cult Parent, POPCULTPARENT. Visit us at www.popcultparent.com. Become a member of the Pop Cult at our Patreon, patreon.com/popcultparent, where you can see all of our full video episodes. Email us at popcultparent@gmail.com. Don't forget to rate us, review, and subscribe. And as always, join the cult. Peace.
You stay classy, internet.
And thanks for coming by.
Stay classy.
But definitely thanks for coming by.
Stay classy.
Thanks for coming by.
I'm Roman Burger. Stay classy.